Hey, what's happening, everybody? Ask Jesse answer time. Awesome questions as always this week. Let's get right to it. Question number one comes to us from Sonia to win, and I apologize if I mispronounce your name. And Sonia asks, when you have the skills and qualifications for the kind of job you want, but are ridden with anxiety so much that attending an interview or even the thought thereof makes you stutter and act incompetent. When this personality disorder prevents you from aspiring towards the jobs you've always dreamt of and keeps you going back to the jobs that make you feel awful and unfulfilled at the end of the day, what do you do? How do you make that leap? How do you prepare and deliver an interview as an interviewee with the confidence that matches what you know you can do and the qualifications that are shown on your resume? When I have an intense anxiety, as I said, I stutter, but I also have brain freeze and can't think. Not reaching for or accomplishing my aspirations, goals, dreams is making me feel listless, indifferent, bored, and very sleepy. So there's a lot going on in this question, and the answer may be out of the scope of what I can give you in a couple minutes here on a video. But I'm going to just throw a couple of things out there that just popped up. You try them on and see what it comes up with. First and foremost, that anxiety feeling, maybe it might be something else. Sometimes we can get confused in our system with anxiety and intense excitement, because at the essence both of them can almost feel similar. There's such an intense emotional response that have you ever been so excited that you're speechless, that you're trying to figure out what to do with your energy, and it's like it leaves you stammering and stuttering because you can't wait. Like, you think about a little kid on Christmas morning who's always wanted a bike, and they walk out and they see the bike for the first time and they're just so speechless that they don't know what quite to say or do. I saw a video recently with a baby showing a cat for the first time, one of the first times, and the baby was so excited, visibly excited by the cat, that she was uncontrollable in her gesturing and her noises and whatnot. And so sometimes as adults we get so far away from the feeling of excitement that when it gets to be so intense that we get so excited about something that is a dream of ours, is a goal of ours, an aspiration of ours, we can confuse the feeling with anxiety, and then we start to put a negative interpretation on it. And then once that happens, we start to feel the other effects of it. So part one, what I suggest is really looking at that emotion and just ask yourself, could this emotion be something else? And the reason why I ask it is because you're obviously, as you mentioned in here, you're able to go back to other jobs. So the issue isn't so much about your job. You have dreams, you have goals, you have skills that you want to use, and you seem very confident in that. And you seem very confident in telling about how capable you are of those things. And so I don't think it's necessarily a lack of confidence. I think that there's confidence there, and it's confidence on display in asking your question. I think it just might be some of the energy is misdirected around this. So I encourage you to really look at the emotion, the energy that's coming up, and ask yourself, is this anxiety, but could this be something else? What else might this emotion be? And just play around with it and see. The other thing I suggest doing is a visualization of that energy as being excitement, and feeling that excitement release after you go through and successfully complete the interview. Because being able to see yourself in the future, you really taking that energy and having it be something positive and directing it towards something could be awesome. I mean, remember, all that is going on inside of us is energy and emotions. They're, for all practical purposes, one and the same. And so to have an intense amount of energy like that swirling around inside of you, how powerful does that make you? And imagine what you can do with that power once you start directing it in a way that could be really productive for you. Because you can see what you can do when you misdirect it. It can cause you to stammer, it can cause you to stutter, it can cause you to, clam up and not be able to speak. That's power. So imagine reversing the pull of that power, what you could do. So give it a try, shoot me an email, let me know how it works, but I encourage you to play with the actual energy of it and just see what it comes up with. Question number two comes to us from Giolin Walsh, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name. And Giolin asks, just give a few tips of staying positive. I can do it for so long, and then doubts creep in, negative thoughts come flooding back. what I would suggest for you first and foremost, and I apologize about the shakiness of the video, is if you haven't done it already, I have on my website, I have a happiness guide. I definitely recommend checking that out and downloading. It's a free download. And putting into practice some of those things, because positivity just boils down to interpretation. It's how we're interpreting any sort of event. You can take two people, they can experience the same thing. One can put a really negative interpretation, negative spin on it. One can see it as completely positive. And I encourage you just to start looking at. So one of the most important tips I could give you right off the top of my head is interpretation is everything. And I promise you that you can interpret anything in a way that gives you a positive spin on it or a positive direction for the future. It's just going to be a matter of if you want to choose to do that. There's a silver lining in virtually anything, no matter how hard things are. It does help. Another suggestion I would make is check out the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And it's an extremely powerful book, one that you see what this guy goes through, and it really puts in perspective the things that we get worked up about, the things we challenge, and that he's able to take a positive outlook at it. It's a really beautiful book. Short, very fast read. I think it's maybe 130 pages, and it's one that I think every human being should read. I think should be required reading in all schools, and because it really shows very simplistically what kind of power we all have inside of us. So those would be my suggestions. As always, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to ask the questions this week. Awesome stuff. If you found value in this video, if you like it, please share it with somebody. If you have questions about it or want to make some comments, leave them below. I love reading what you have to say, and I can respond back to you. And we'll see you guys again next week. Look forward to doing this soon. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.